You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Mike Olivas.
Suzanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you for letting me be on your show. Hello.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great to have you. So you're coming from Venice Beach, California.
Yes, 6 blocks away from the beach.
Oh, awesome. Do you go to the beach often?
I used to go every day, but now, I don't know if you heard of it, but we have this homeless situation really bad. Tents on the boardwalks everywhere. So it's
really?
actually safe. So I'm not going anymore, but hopefully eventually I will again.
Yeah. Hopefully the city figures something out for that. But I have heard of that. I lived in Newport Beach for 12 years up until moving to Puerto Rico, but I have been really good about going to the beach daily. And I even do that here now because I live on the beach, but it's important to me to remember that, we're both very blessed to live so close to the water. It's kind of a good way for me. I have my coffee on the beach every morning, so I'm with you. Hopefully that gets remedied soon. So tell our listeners, Suzanna, a little bit, something maybe interesting about yourself.
I was born in the communist Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
54 years ago. I'm 54.
Okay.
I managed to escape and I lived 10 years in Sweden. I was a lecturer at the university in computer science. And then one day I went on vacation to Venice Beach just for a couple of hours and people dancing on roller skates, sunshine, happiness. I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. So I went back to Sweden. A half year later, I came for 2 months, for a little longer time, to see if it is what it is, and it was. Back to Sweden, sold my house, quit my job. Nicely over 6 months, I finished, and I moved to Venice Beach. 1 bag, 1 bicycle, no English, didn't know anybody, didn't know where to be, what to do, but I figured it, and I have a great life. I've been here for 23 years now.
Well, way to take the dive. Good for you. I know a lot of people, especially, I'm sure a lot of your friends back home were like applauding you and giving you a lot of good props for that. Like, that's a lot of work. And so it's scary, right? Initially when you do that. I did the same thing just 6 months ago. I came to Puerto Rico and I came here for 1 week I've never been here because I was planning on moving here for the tax reasons. And I never left. So without getting into too crazy detail, I left my offices, a life, my place where I was living, another business. And when you do that, you put your back against the wall, doesn't it? And it forces you to become successful with whatever you have to do so to live with the life that you want to live.
Absolutely. And it teaches you, I had to minimize my life. I could not go and get a coffee in the store because I could get 10 coffees at home. So I learned how to preserve my I had few savings and preserve it and really start learning English and all that. So yeah, I think it's good sometimes to start from scratch. Like Absolutely. You say, it's scary, but it's good for your personality.
I agree. I totally agree with that. So tell us a little bit about what your company does. We're talking about Tennis Fitness Love. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a performance coach
Okay.
and injury prevention specialist. I focus mostly on tennis players, but I also have normal people, non-tennis playing people. And it turns out that over these years I've been doing it, a lot of aging population, maybe 50, 60, 70. These are active tennis players. They play tennis several times a week, but you know how it is after 50, 60, 70, if you don't take care of yourself, the body starts breaking down. My job is they come to me, I look at all the imbalances, left hip, right hip, this and that, and I try to fix them so they could keep playing tennis and not having any bigger injuries or problems. So that's my job.
Awesome.
That's what I do.
So your clients must have a very big passion for playing tennis.
Absolutely, they do. Interesting though, and that's what my website, it's called Tennis Fitness Love, and my business. A lot of tennis players, they want to play tennis, but they hate to do the fitness part, the job, train your glutes, keep stretching. So that's what I called my business, Tennis Fitness Love, to have this positive influence to tell them
Yeah,
you need
right.
to do fitness also. However, it's only a few. I'm not sure about the percentage, but it needs to be a special person who is willing to put the fitness effort into making the tennis better. So all my people are actually amazing warriors, because like I said, these are special people who
Yeah.
hired me, and they stayed with me for years, 5, 10, 15 years. I have long-term relationships, which is
Oh, that's
really good.
awesome. Yeah, that's great to be able to have that long-term relationship. At that point, it's a friendship, but you're still being able to hopefully create an impact and make a difference in it. But I can see how the fitness aspect is probably not the most attractive. People want to have fun. I love to snowboard. I don't like leg day at the gym. I did that yesterday. I should have done not leg day yesterday because I'm standing up so much for podcast today, so my legs are cramping up. But I don't like working out legs so much, but I also know that the winning part of that is that I get to be on the mountain a lot longer throughout the day without my legs starting to shake. So
Yeah.
fitness is a part of it. Like any business, that sounds like you kind of try to brand it a little bit, but yeah, if it was just tennisfitness.com, you probably wouldn't get as many clients.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in business, Suzanne?
I've been pretty much in Czechoslovakia and Sweden. I was computer scientist,
Yeah.
but I loved fitness since early childhood. But in Czechoslovakia, it was during communist time, my mom remarried and moved to Sweden, and I was this black sheep because she escaped communism. So I could not study anything about fitness because I just was forbidden. What I did though, when I moved to Sweden, I was training people on the side of my main job, different
Oh, wow.
fitness groups, hockey players, skiers. It was just my passion. So I already started in Sweden, and then I moved here to California. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I can do this for living here. I
Yeah.
put commitments aside. I still was doing my website and all this in the beginning. So pretty much I've been doing it 23 years here in California, but I started another 5, 6, 7 years before in Sweden. So almost 30 years.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, congratulations on the longevity of your company. So you were doing this on the side a little bit in Sweden, is that right?
Yes,
Wow.
just
And
kind of as a hobby, helping people, doing it for fun and learning. I love experiments. My life is one big experiment.
yeah,
Everything I try it first on my own, then I realize working or not working, and then I'm much more able to help my clients, because if I tried it, it's like, oh yeah, this is great for this, not so good for this. You can choose now, do this or that. So I love experiments. Everything is an experiment.
you're right. Life is an experiment, business or A/B testing or experiments on marketing or business or ideas, and see what works and what doesn't. I think that's a great outlook on it. So tell me, what would you say you have a secret? What's been your secret, Susanna, on being able to have a business for so long? And then,
I I think that my secret is just what I said. I test everything on my own, and I can relate to people. I'm
yeah,
learning handstands now, and I'm struggling learning as a tall lady adult. Now when my clients want to learn handstands, I completely understand the fear, how what everything goes to it. So I'm very much able to relate with almost everybody. I was also very active tennis player until my pole and handstand. I play tennis 7 days a week. So I know, oh, that's how you feel. That's where it hurts. That's because you do this. Relating to people, I think, is my strength. And also, I think I have pretty good positive outlook on life. And I
good.
just love helping people. So my energy, I'm just dumping.
Yeah, yeah, you're
energy.
not kidding. I can feel it here, all the way from sunny Puerto Rico to Venice. I can see it. You're smiling. You're excited. I like to say I'm the same way. I just really love hearing people's stories, which is hence why I started this podcast and hearing their success stories. And also, there's failure stories. A lot of failures that come into play with it. What was a time where you felt you had that close to, oh my gosh, what am I going to do kind of failure? Did you ever have any kind of scary situation, whether it could be moving obviously over to the States, but that you felt the business may not be working out and then you were over to overcome that objection?
I don't think I had a major failure like this, but looking back, maybe I was not a smart business owner before, because in communism, we were not business oriented. We were all equal. Everybody has right to work. So I did not have that attitude, build it, grow it.
Oh,
And
sure.
when I came here, I didn't come like a tiger to make something big here out of me. And I was helping people, doing a lot of things for free, or let me do this for you, that. I just didn't care to become super rich.
Yeah.
And I think also at that time, I used to be a drug-free bodybuilder, and I'm 6 feet tall, and I used
Awesome.
to wear braids. So I was this tall braided goddess back in time, 10
Awesome.
years ago. But I had a lot of fan base just because of that.
Yeah.
It was social media. I had my own website because of my computer background, no social media. And I had thousands of fans. Now I wish I somehow converted my fans into something already then into my growing business, or make something out of them more business-like. I just, oh, fans, you want my picture? Okay, here's my picture. I was not, so that was maybe not necessarily failure, but I think if I was business oriented then, I think I would be much bigger. But I'm happy anyway, so it doesn't really. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a learning process, right? And I guess you could have converted or kept relationships alive, but at some point, I mean, you can't be everything to everybody, right? Life Nation, we're all striving towards different goals. Maybe your goal is to finally quit the 8 to 5 grind, quit your job, or take the next step with your existing business. Whatever the goal may be, regardless of your reasons, if you are serious about taking the next step and finally trying to build the life that you deserve, the life that you want to live, take the leap of faith with me. Go to michaelolivas.com and let's discuss your goals and life. It's 100% free. There's no obligation. It's michaelolivas.com. Schedule a quick call. I'd love to help. And so, seeing your personality and knowing that it sounds like you have a really big engagement with the clients that you do have, right? And so you can't make that kind of impact, a big impact on tens of thousands of people. I mean, the mastermind idea out there, but from a client service standpoint, for someone that is doing one-on-one training, for example, at some point, even if you're doing 10 hours a day, you're going to cap at 10 clients a day, which is a lot of work, right? At some point. So that could be it's almost too much work, but it sounds like, for many businesses and services and or coaches, like someone like yourself, you have that feeling of just of compassion when it comes to helping others do something that they're passionate about, and your passion happens to be theirs as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm so aware I'm trading my time for hours, and I can only last this much, because if I take on too much, I'm not going to be good to any of them. So I'm just doing whatever I need to do to be happy and positive, improve their lives. And I live humbly. I don't need much. I'm happy. I live in a beautiful place here.
Good.
So
Good for
happy
you.
with the development.
Yeah, you know what really matters, and I think that's important, Suzanna. I think it's not an age thing by any means, because you've had a business for so long. And I think that people, the sooner they understand that you don't need all the things, but creating those true impactful relationships and experiences, trade those for things all day. Right. Mm-hmm. And if you're able to live happily and you're smiling like the way that you are, and if you're watching this video right now, you'll see it. If you're listening, YouTube it. You want to take a look at it for sure, because we're both all smiles here, and it's exciting to hear that you're still passionate about what you're doing, and you've been doing it for so long. What are you most excited about right now within your business? Are you doing anything new? Do you have some new clientele? Any kind of new programs?
I am now obsessively passionate about learning handstand and pole fitness, pole dancing.
Oh yeah.
A couple of years, and me, 54, super tall. Everything is much harder for me.
Oh sure.
Yeah. What was amazing when I started to learn, I struggled so much. I could not do basic, simple things. The girls make it look so easy, and here I'm hanging, spinning like a sack of potato. So I started to go to some gymnastic classes, bought programs about gymnastic strength training, and I've learned a lot about the body from different point of view, from the gymnastic, from inside, the core, the shoulders, and everything. And I'm taking all that good stuff, converting it and bringing it to my tennis players, because there is a lot of good stuff in gymnastic that my people can use as well.
Yeah.
So techniques are pretty much, like I said, experiment on me. And all these techniques that I learn on me, I'm putting them in this big old nice package and I'm using it on my people. So this
Oh,
is
good.
very exciting, and seeing it's working on them too. Some of them never want to do a handstand, it doesn't matter, but they have super bulletproof shoulders. They will never break. I was like, yay, perfect.
Yeah, that's right. So is there a lot of, I'm not a fitness connoisseur by any means, but fitness has been part of my life for years, and I studied a lot of it as well. Is knowing the tennis world is a lot high impact, right, on joints,
Mhm.
especially ligament joints, right, because you're going back and forth and side to side a lot. Are you? Is there a lot of things like, let's say, there's listeners right now that might not be playing tennis, but they like other sports or also tennis. What kind of exercises are people doing that are maybe non-joint intensive, non-joint exercises?
You know what I would recommend to anybody, tennis player, you, surfer, snowboarder, whatever.
Sure.
Generally, we all have imbalances in the hips. Even if you don't play lopsided sport, just how you sit in the car, you shift, you are a little twisted, you have your wallet in your pocket. So the
Yeah.
hips are imbalanced. Often your dominant hip, if you are right-handed, right-legged, or right-handed tennis player, it's right is a little tighter and stronger, and the
Okay.
left one is a little weaker, and eventually the left one stops working and different other muscle needs to compensate, and all this chain of events starts. So I would recommend to everybody, and any athlete or non-athlete, hips, pay attention to your gluteus medius. Those little kind of boring exercises, the peeing dog, kneeling and lifting the leg up and
Yeah.
down, all these simple, boring things, they are so important. And especially on your non-dominant side, make the non-dominant side as close to your dominant side as possible, and you won't have any problems.
Oh,
Even
sure.
the high impact then won't be such a problem, because your glutes, your hips will function really well. So your knees and feet will be protected from that.
How does someone know what their dominant side is and what their non-dominant side is?
Often, if you are right-handed, the right leg is also the dominant, but doesn't need to be. The simplest test is you stand on one leg, you have somebody watch you because it's hard to see yourself, or you can see yourself in the mirror. Stand on both legs, and then you lift, say left one, and say this is your pelvis,
Hmm.
and you stay on then one leg. Then when you lift the leg, the pelvis doesn't really move so much. You just stabilize with that glute.
Okay.
If you lift the other leg, suddenly the hip shifts and sinks and kind of moves. And that's the weaker hip. It doesn't have the strength to stabilize you. And then the weaker one is most probably the non-dominant one, because it got weak, the brain stopped using it. It gets kind of lazy by
Sure.
not being used.
Yeah,
So
it's a subconscious thing as well.
Mhm. But I
Absolutely.
think also people, if they do a basic stretch, some kind of pigeon stretch or something like that, they will notice one is tighter, and it's often the dominant hip. It's tighter because it's stronger, it's working a little bit more. And the weaker one is a little looser. So that could be also a sign. Not always, they are different. People can have bigger issues, but
Yeah.
often. Stand on the leg and then also stretch the hip, and then if that one strong one is also tight, that's most probably a dominant hip.
Okay. So lifting up your leg in the mirror, seeing where your pelvic bone is shifting at that point.
Mhm.
Don't try to lift both legs at once.
That could be a problem. If you can, that would be awesome.
Yeah, then you could levitate in your magic. Congratulations.
You can
Yeah.
start in
Right.
teach
How
people how to do.
what do you so how do you feel like some of the life that this is a business and life podcast, Suzanne. I always like to ask, how have you really worked on building the life that you want to live? You live humbly, you said, and I think that's awesome. And it's being able to see what you need and what you want. Those are two different things, and also eventually it's just really what you need and being happy. How have you really shifted a little bit? Because you came from out of the country and you came to a Southern California where I've lived for 12 years in Newport Beach before I moved to Puerto Rico. And there's a lot of that mindset there where it's keeping up with the Joneses and let me see what I have and who do you know. But you've been able to be very happy, which I can tell on this interview, which I love, by the way. How have you built a life that you want to live with your business?
I realized early on I really don't care so much about the Hollywood and movies and whom you know and whom you see. And I know Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, oh yeah, I see
Yeah,
him in the gym, say hello, right? But I'm not,
yeah,
it's not important to me. What I noticed the most important for me is that I have the freedom. I have freedom of my schedule.
yeah.
Can really choose when I want to do what I want to do, when I want work. That's actually, I think, the most important for me. Being in the sunshine here in California, I love the sunshine. That's important also. And then I also realized that I have enough money to buy myself whatever I need. I have every sport equipment here at home. I have a pole in the living room, stall bars, everything. I pretty much have everything I need. If I buy more, it's probably just because I want it.
Right,
But I don't
right.
need.
Yeah,
I
sure.
have a good car, it functions. I take really good care of my things, and I often don't buy a new thing just because new iPhone comes out and let me buy it. I just, if it works and I'm happy, I just keep it until it doesn't serve me anymore. And I think that's what makes me happy, because I'm not driving for one more car, one more phone, one more this, because it's
Right.
it's like chasing your tail. It's never ending.
You're right.
And
The consumerism is such a relevant thing in the United States and other places, but I think that's something that our listeners listening right now should have a big takeaway on, is the need and want syndrome of what you want and what you need. You don't need a lot. And I'll be for example, I never go get the brand new phone. I don't. And I'm in technology. I do technology things, and I don't, because I know there's no difference and there's no huge difference. And you have people waiting in lines at Best Buy when they can be spending time with, I hate to say it, their kids or their family or something a lot more valuable, right? Or they're camping out for Black Friday. Don't get me started on that. And it's just why, right? Why? What are you doing? So if you're doing those things out there and you're listening, it's not a bad thing. But I think there's a self-realization aspect of like, why am I doing this? Because your phone, and it's likely just to be able to tell someone I have the new iPhone 10, or I have the new, like I always get the phone prior to the new one. So I have a Google Pixel 3. I got the Google Pixel 3 when the Google Pixel 4 came out, because
okay.
the operator of technology and things are what's really going to make the impact, not just a phone. It's not going to make you smarter or better. You have to be smarter or better, right? And so I think that's a really cool thing for some of the takeaways on technology that you mentioned, like the phone situation that I wanted to touch on. But give me some advice, if, or not me advice, I guess the advice to our listeners that might be people that want to start a business or they're in a business. What kind of advice would you give them from your experiences, Suzanna?
I can maybe, I will speak about my business, this
Yeah,
fitness industry, but it's any service, I think. I would highly recommend. There's so much information online. Just read, but try everything on your own. Whatever program there is, try it on your own. All my money I spend, it's for my food, my dogs, my sport equipment, and all these programs.
awesome.
Mastermind, memory, handstand, pole. So the education, I don't go to school anymore. I had 2 master degrees from past, but so I don't go to school anymore because it's kind of slow anyway. But I'm learning, buying all these things, learning, suck everything in yourself, because the more you have experience, the more you can relate to what people want or need. Sometimes people want something else that then they need. And you, as a business owner, you might realize they actually need something else than they want. And
Yes.
you can somehow guide them with a lot of diplomacy. You
Sure.
can guide them to what they need and want. And I think it comes only from experience. So I would do everything, test everything on yourself,
That's
and
great
be
advice.
patient.
Oh, patience is huge.
Patient,
I absolutely
patience and
agree.
consistency. Patience and consistency. Doesn't matter how slow or fast. Just do the work every day. If it's this little, that's okay too. It just takes you a little longer. But sometimes people jump in it for 2 months. They go full pace and they burn out, and it's over. If you just do little, consistency will definitely accumulate, and you will get what you want sooner or later if you patient and consistent.
Patient and consistent business in life. That's great advice. Be a sponge of education. There's so much out there that you can be YouTubing and Googling and becoming a master of your craft. So jump in, start learning, start activating those skill sets, and at least trying, like Suzanna has and continues to do in her life, is continue to try new things, see what works, see what doesn't, see what you do like and what you don't like, and continue that process. Thank you so much, Suzanna, for your time today.
Thank you so much. It was really fun to speak with you.
It was great chatting with you as well.
Life Nation, you got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Libas, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.